Let's get some reaction from a couple of different angles here. First, starting with the Cubs, who get their guy. It's, again, 5 years, 175. When you look at total value, it's the third largest in franchise history. When you look at AAV at $35 million, it is the largest. From that perspective, are you surprised that the Cubs got this done?
Well, it's been a while since we have seen the Cubs spend like this for a free agent position player, or even at this comparable level. And that's why I think, to your point, it was a little surprising when this news broke about Bregman going to the north side. But you can also see the overall context of this team. When they hired Craig Counsell a couple off seasons ago, they signaled the belief they could win this division consistently again. 2016 was a long time ago. It was a decade ago when they broke the curse. And now there is this instinct and desire to win the World Series again. And the Cubs need a player like this to do it. It certainly gives them some infield depth. He may be the missing piece that allows them to overtake the division rival Brewers. And it's not just the production that he brings. You heard that a bit in the montage, Paul, as we started this segment. It's the leadership, the preparation, the competitiveness, the defense, a lot of components the Cubs might have been missing. They are missing no more now that Alex Bregman is a Cub.
But there is a ball club that is missing all of that stuff, the Boston Red Sox. And again, Red Sox and Cubs, those two teams often thought of as these money giants, these financial giants. And now it sounds like the Red Sox were outbid, albeit by a little bit, for Alex Bregman's services. Where do you think the Red Sox organization or fan base is or should be today?
Well, Paul, they've already been pretty aggressive in making trades this winter. That much is clear. So they've made some upgrades, but this is obviously a major minus. And not only is it a major minus for this year, but you think about, Rafael Devers is no longer there either to be able to support and add in some offense. So one of the great ironies, Paul, of this situation for the Red Sox is they probably now have to explore the trade market again. And ironically, a team that now has a surplus of infielders? Well, the Chicago Cubs. They could potentially move Nico Horner or Matt Shaw, who happens to be a Massachusetts native. Brendan Donovan is there with the Cardinals, but one would think, given all the business the Red Sox have already transacted with the Cardinals this winter, that if there was an easy deal to be made for Brendan Donovan, they might have made it by now. So there are still some trade possibilities out there, but you also think about the larger picture. Someone like Cody Bellinger, not really a great fit right now for the Red Sox because they've already now addressed first base with Contreras, and in some ways they have an abundance of outfielders already.
You mentioned Bellinger, and now again, taking a step back, whether it's Boston or otherwise, now that Bregman is off the board, Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, Cody Bellinger, where do their markets stand? And were all of these guys, Bregman included, waiting for one domino to fall before everything else falls into place?
Paul, I think that's accurate. That Bregman in many ways is that one domino that really starts to hit the rest of the cycle now going forward. And probably the next one to drop could be Bo Bichette. There was a report from Matt Gelb over the last several days that Bichette is due to meet this week with the Philadelphia Phillies. There's the close relationship that he has with Don Mattingly, now the bench coach in Philly, and so perhaps that's a good fit. We'll see what that means for Alec Bohm and maybe a position switch, at least on a limited basis, for Bryce Harper. Now, as for Tucker and Bellinger, New York is still heavily involved for both, and I mean both sides of town. Mark Feinstein reported to us recently that actually both the Mets and the Yankees prefer Bellinger to Tucker. That's pretty interesting when you think about how that all works, and you also have to think about the length of term on these deals. With Bellinger in particular being younger than Bregman, Bregman gets 5 years guaranteed, no opt-out, so perhaps we'll see Bellinger get that deal in excess of 5 years after all.